Coming up on today's show, we're going to slide all the way through the HBCU world and keep you up to date with everything that you need to know that's going on from Jackson State to Central State University. Norfolk State is included too. It's our pulse of the HBCU world. And then also on today's show, we're going to break down the rise of GJ Kinne, Texas State head coach. We're going to break him down and talk about this football program that's on the ascension in the state of Texas, looking to take back the state of Texas. We're also going to do our team breakdown of the ULM Warhawks. Nobody is checking on the Warhawks except Moon. So I'm going to talk to you more about them. If you was looking for your latest plug and everything that you need to know in this college football world, look no further, my friend. This is the world of CFB. Let's get into it and let's get the party going, man. Welcome to the World of College Football, hosted by me, Moon, credential media member of DCFB Nation, hosted this stream, and this also is sponsored by BetUS. We got a jam-packed episode tonight for you. Special shout out to everybody that's been watching the show, soaking it in. We're getting closer and closer, like 70 days until the college football season kicks off. I'm excited. I'm like a kid in the candy store. And we don't got much time to work with, but we're going to make every minute count. This is the world of college football. Let's jam-pack this show into a few stages, and I welcome you into the building. Shake my hand. It's nice to see you from last time. Shout out to everybody that watched the USC breakdown, man. I really appreciate you, USC community. Hopefully you feel like I did a good job of like spotlighting the team and the players and things of that nature. HBCUs is where my heart is. At the core of it, that's where my identity, I want to keep it rooted in, because HBCU football is leveling up with the swagger that nobody across the nation can compete with. You got primetime battles that are taking center stage under the lights. You got coaching legends that are returning home, and they're coming back home for redemption. You got high stakes revenge games that's coming up. You got matchups that's being moved to NFL stadiums. There's so many different things that's going on in the HBCU world, and everything just feels historic right now. Everything feels divine, like Candy Crush, So with everything going on, this is the latest installment of our Pulse of the HBCU series, where we're going to tell you about the game that we love in a form of like a love letter / update if you haven't been paying attention. So sit back, relax, and I got you on this Monday night. Let's start first with the Cricket Celebration Bowl, because it's no longer a secret. It's the main event for all of us to see. Circle the date, December the 13th, 2025, year of our Lord, because this will be the 10th annual Cricket Celebration Bowl. And peep this, the game is returning back to ABC, and the numbers do not lie. This isn't just HBCU's football's Super Bowl. It's the national championship for HBCU. And last year, they showed up like never before. I mean, we talking about numbers. For the people that love numbers, this event drew in 2.1 million viewers. This was a 37% spike from 2023. There was 40 plus thousand fans in attendance at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to see Jackson State versus South Carolina State. I was in attendance covering the game for CFB Nation. Crazy atmosphere, by the way. But a monumental and a statement win by Jackson State. They handled business. Shake my hand, Jackson State fans. By the end of the day, they silenced all the critics by thumping South Carolina State 28-7. Now, I don't got no beef against you, South Carolina State. It's nothing personal, bro. I'm just reporting it because, we got to cover the game. But in this upcoming edition of the Cricket Celebration Bowl, it might just be the best yet. Now, you talk about scripts and storylines. This season is going to be monumental. The MIAC is already experiencing its fair share of changes. And then you have the winner of the SWAC that's loaded from top to bottom. Somebody is going to be getting crowned an HBCU national champion in Atlanta, Georgia on December the 13th, 2025. And the big thing about this game, it kicks off all of bowl season. I've attended the Cricket Celebration Bowl the last, what, 2 years now, 3 years, and every year it just goes up and up and up in experience. The first year we attended it as Radio Row and got a chance to cover the game, talk to all the coaches, Willie Simmons, FAMU, got to talk to the other side as well, and it was a great experience. We leveled that up in 2024, and so did they. They took it. They took all the critiques, suggestions, and said, you know what, we're gonna go even further in our experience. And that's what I love about the Cricket Celebration Bowl. I got a chance to talk to Director Grant, and he takes the Cricket Celebration Bowl absolutely serious. And really, all the events that make up the Celebration Bowl package that comes with it, whether it's the MEAC SWAC Challenge that we're going to talk about in a second, but this game brought in so many eyes, 2.3 million viewers. It's going to go up. And the first one of bowl season is going to be a dandy for this matchup that we see. I mean, the last two variations of them has been classics, classic games. Now, let's keep this party going in HBCU football and talk about a guy that moves the needle in Norfolk. We're talking about Michael Vick. If you needed proof that HBCU football is back on the front pages and taking up all the headlines, look no further, because this is your proof. Michael Vick is the head coach at Norfolk State. Yes, that Michael Vick, the one who is in the NFL moving around like a joystick on turbo mode, the one that made Madden 2004 ridiculous. That same Michael Vick, and his arrival in December of 2024, it didn't just shake up the MEAC, it really shook up the HBCU world, and everybody took notice, including the ticket office. There's been some numbers that came out for Norfolk State, and apparently season ticket prices have jumped up 82% since this man has got hired. And fans, they still lined up. Why? Because Norfolk, they are actually funding the student athletes experience while also selling seats. And thanks to the new NCAA revenue sharing model, a piece of every single ticket goes directly to the players. This is a new era that we in, a new value, a new mission. And leading that charge is a guy that is on my screen. I mean, with big games on tap this year, including a homecoming showdown versus South Carolina State, the season opener against Towson, a matchup against Deshaun Jackson at Lincoln Financial Field, Norfolk State might become the most watched show in all of HBCU football this upcoming fall. Let's talk about some legacy in the pocket, because Lawrence Wright, the fourth, is betting on himself at FAMU. And I know bloodlines don't always guarantee greatness. We talked about that in a previous version of this show. We talked about the 2026 recruiting class and how you can look at the bloodlines in that class and say, yo, this one has the makings to be special, because a lot of these kids come from blue chippers that knocked the door down 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years ago. And we see the same situation right now with Lawrence Wright, son of Florida Gators legend and 1996 Jim Thorpe Award winner Lawrence Wright III. He's actually trading Gainesville and saying, yep, we're going to go and leave that in the past. And he packed his bags and said, we're going to go a little further west. Go a little further west to FAMU. This is a huge pickup, but it's also a pressure story that's mounting. And you know what I say about pressure. It either bursts pipes or makes diamonds. This is a perfect breeding ground for this kid to develop into a diamond with James Colsey and FAMU. Now, he was clutch in high school at PK Yonge. He went all the way up to Florida in his red shirt season at Florida. He's been tested. He's been through the fire, but now he enters a situation that has other talent that's still there. There's no there's no shame in saying that FAMU is loaded. They are. They got JUCO standout Jet Petty and former CMU dual threat Tyler Jefferson is going to be battling with him. But I feel like if he has and keeps the same mindset that pressure makes diamonds and builds diamonds the right way, then this feels like the right energy for a team with Celebration Bowl ambitions that the FAMU Rattlers have and want to get back to. Because FAMU has the defense, it has the culture, and now it has another skill position that can be injected and have some life into it when you need it the most. Let's go and keep the party rolling. We got to talk about Clark Atlanta, and they are rising to set the stage for week 0, and they have a showdown with D2 royalty. Birmingham is about to get loud, people. Mark your calendars for August the 30th. Circle it. Remember that Moon is trying to tell you Clark Atlanta takes on Division II juggernaut Valdosta State at historic Legion Field in Birmingham. It's the week 0 Labor Day Classic. Now, this is going to be a culture festival. It's going to feature a celebrity flag football game. It's going to feature esports arenas, soul food that might even change your life. So I'm telling you, mark it down in your calendars. We're gonna have to include this on the CFB Nation tour this year because I gotta go see Clark Atlanta. Speaking of Clark Atlanta, 2 years ago, Clark Atlanta was winless. Now they're led by SIAC Coach of the Year, Teddy Keaton. A 31 they had 31 touchdown machine last year, David Wright, but he ran out of eligibility. I found this out going to Clark Atlanta spring game or a spring scrimmage versus Morehouse. And now they have another guy that's coming in that's probably just as deadly. Shh. Just keep that on the hush. Nobody needs to know that just now. However, with the conference, well, with the FCS expanding, and now if you win your conference, then you have a slot to make it to the FCS playoffs. All they have to do is win. And what better test than to get Valdosta State that comes into the arena? What better test can Teddy, Coach Keaton bring them boys together? Because this one feels personal. This one feels national. Valdosta State's coach just left. He came to the SWAC. So we said, you know what? We'll replace him and schedule another top tier matchup. But make no mistake, this one matters immensely, so much for Teddy Keaton and the Clark Atlanta Panthers. Coming up next, let's talk about some changes coming in the FCS. Now, the FCS is going full time into this 12-game schedule boost and model. And when I looked at it, it said, ding, ding, boom, this one is going to help with visibility. Now, apparently, starting in 2026, FCS programs, including the ones in the SWAC and in the MEAC, will play 12 games starting every year. No calendar math needed to understand what it is that I just said. Now, 12 games is going to matter immensely because right now, they don't have that. Right now, you're in situations where some teams are playing 11, some people are playing 10. Like it's just unbalanced. So you make everybody get on the same page and one accord. That ultimately levels the playing field. And for HBCUs, it gives us a chance to expand their schedules, schedule more interesting games, even have some strategic flexibility for some programs that is chasing national prominence, national relevance, and ultimately Black college football glory. Now, speaking of that, somebody that's making national college football national glory, but nobody wants to talk about is this guy, Coach Keaton, Teddy Keaton, who is doing it his way and doing it the right way. Clark Atlanta, shout out to you in the world of college football. Y'all treat me absolutely amazing every time I come out there on tour. I look forward to seeing y'all on the CFB Nation tour this year. But when I saw y'all in the spring, it was undeniable how much Teddy Keaton has his blueprint all over this team. It's just oozing off of them. Like they can't help but to progress and be good at Clark Atlanta. They scrimmaged against Morehouse. The team looked really loaded. The team looked together and cohesive. And I think the bigger thing was Morehouse. Morehouse looked just better overall because Morehouse has been struggling. Anybody that knows, they know Morehouse has been struggling. last year was not a pretty sight for Morehouse. So it was just good that them boys have a quarterback. But we flip it to the opposite side. And why does this matter, Moon? Well, Morehouse has to take on Howard early in the season, national stage game. Clark Atlanta now has to play Valdosta State early stage game. So these two are going to meet later on in the season. And by the time we get to that point, you're going to be looking at that guy on the screen and be like, yo, who is he again? That is Coach Teddy Keaton, a dog. Remember, he stalks the sidelines of Clark Atlanta University, home of the infamous Red Field, the only red field that I know about right now. But in an era where the transfer portal has become a carousel of confusion for us and really all the people in the college football world, Clark Atlanta's Teddy Keating is actually being real about his experience in answering the hard questions that we want to know. And he spoke about it on HBCU game day, talking about survival talk, in my opinion. He said, can you win with that kid? Can that kid help me keep my job? These are the questions that he's asking at the end of the year, during the year. And in his interview with college game day, I mean, say college game day, I'm thinking about Lee Corso, HBCU game day, they peel back some later layers in this conversation. And shout out to them for always doing a great job. But he talked more about the mindset, the culture, the academics, the foundational pieces where he can really, try to entice a kid to stay. Sometimes a kid will leave the program and enter the transfer portal, but realize that there isn't many more options. What do you do as a head coach? Do you allow that kid to come back? Before you can say, nah, man, you ain't never coming back, man. Go find it better. You're better out there, man. Not here at our program. But now it's like, because there's so many changes, you might entertain that kid that comes back and now, and it depends on what his production was. So it really shined a light on what the grind of HBCU life is when you have a kid with a 4-star ranking that's been through the system, and they got to wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning for lifts, and they had 3-hour study halls. He really did a great job of taking us behind the scenes into what coaches have to deal with. And I really do feel like Clark Atlanta University is part of Teddy Keaton has upped the ante and they are embracing and running into all smoke in 2025, year of our Lord. Let's talk about the next thing. There's major news that's going on with FAMU, home of the Rattlers, and Mississippi Valley State and the Delta Devils. You got to circle October the 4th on your calendar. Make sure you remember that date, because inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where so much magic seems to happen with the HBCU football world, there is a revenge game that is loading up between two teams that have massive storylines between each other. FAMU and Mississippi Valley State is something that I can only put into words by trying to be as visual as possible. Last year, Mississippi Valley State pulled off the upset of a decade, and they snapped FAMU's 23-game home win streak in Tallahassee. Now, this win streak was monumental, legendary. It was like you come into brag and you're not winning. You might as well just go ahead and get the team moms ready to travel back to whatever town you're from, and you're gonna be with the loss on your resume. That's how like that FAMU was at home. And then Mississippi Valley State said, you know what, we're gonna snap that streak. And they did that. And that was the Valley's only win of the year. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, now when you see FAMU back under the lights, I remember seeing FAMU 2023 Celebration Bowl. That is one of the pictures and covers that I made after the game. They're back under the lights, and they have a very good relationship with Atlanta, Georgia, the same stadium where FAMU won its first celebration title in 2023. Now, both coaches in this matchups are Florida State DB legends. The energy going to be through the roof. The excitement for this matchup is going to be off the charts, and the revenge, oh man, the revenge is going to be so sweet. Let's take a look at the SWAC MEAC Challenge, because Saturday, August the 23rd, the CLB Nation Tour will get kicked off 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Atlanta, Georgia, Well, we will get a chance to see Southern University traveling to Center Park Stadium to take on North Carolina Central in a matchup that's going to be broadcast live on ABC for the whole world to see. This is prime time, baby. Back to back for the second straight year. The bands, the energy, the urgency. It's no longer a hidden gem. Last year, Moon was on national TV, man. After Gasset scored the touchdown, they got me on national TV on ABC. So I'm super excited for this matchup. But beyond that, you talk about the first taste of college football that America gets to see. You get to see culture. And I feel like that is always something that we got to look forward to. The matchups that we're going to get, though, have been classics. Last year, Norfolk State versus FAMU, amazing game, an amazing atmosphere. In 2026, we're going to get Alabama A&M taking on Howard University. So the stakes are going to be even higher for that matchup. And this past year, if you want to know about numbers and numbers that matter the most, 1.3 million viewers in a sold out Center Park Stadium. This year, expect more madness, especially with the two schools that's a part of this whole mix right now. Let's keep it pushing. The Orange Blossom Classic just got some major headlines because FAMU and Howard have flexed their game, and now the time slot is officially locked and loaded. They're going to be playing in the Orange Blossom Classic at 4 p.m. on ESPNU, and this is going to lead us directly into LSU versus Clemson. This is prime time real estate for HBCU football. Being right in front of arguably the game of the year, where everybody gets a chance to see you, everybody knows that this game is going to be personal, but it's more than a game. It's a moment to celebrate the culture. It's a moment for the nation to watch. And it's really the ultimate alley oop from ESPN. Like, hey, y'all get to kick off and have all of us entertained before we get popping and see LSU versus Clemson Battle of Death Valley. The nation will be on notice for this matchup. Speaking of another matchup that's going to be going down underneath the lights, did you know that Tuskegee University is going to be playing their first ever night game, and it's going to be on September the 6th? History finally gets a night game for Tuskegee. First time ever under the new stadium lights that they just added in, over 100 plus years in the making. When Coach Cleve Abbott envisioned this in 1926 when electricity was a luxury. Now it's a part of the legacy. This is a monumental moment for Tuskegee, and that game is going to be absolutely live. Thanks to Alabama Power, shout out to Alabama Power, Abbott Memorial Stadium is going to glow for the first time as Tuskegee hosts Central State. Now, the Tigers are HBCU's football's winningest program, and now their history gets a real highlight reel type of moment for us underneath the stars. All of the lights. That's what I call it. Let's move on and move right along. Willie Totten is returning to Fort Valley State, and he's going to be a QB whisperer for him, an absolute legend. Fort Valley State just got another one, and Marlon Watson is cooking right now. Marlon Watson got brought in to Fort Valley State as their new head coach, and some people might have thought that it was just a name, but nah, like he is a very knowledgeable, very inquisitive, and very curious head coach, or he's going to be, and he up to this point has been, being surgical and diabolical when it comes to his approach and adding the coaching staff. Now he's got a program builder on his resume with Willie Totten coming in. I mean, he's mentored quarterbacks. He's a legend from through to through, for real. And honestly, it helps us when it comes to recruiting for Valley State, because if you're a QB that actually has dreams of playing on Sundays, a quarterback that wants to get your game to the next level and take those next steps and your maturation and growth and development, look no further than Fort Valley State, because you got some guys now that's going to help mold you. Willie Totten, he's the same man that hold the NCAA record books, and he was playing alongside Jerry Rice at Mississippi Valley State. Now he's the associate head coach and OC at Fort Valley State. Expect them boys to put up some points this year. Speaking of points, NC A&T is just hoping that points come their way, and they needed a quarterback. Now they got one, and he actually has some grit, some arm talents. He's been through the ringer. He played at Maryland. He got some few transferred in, and after some injuries, thinned out North Carolina A&T's depth chart. This is like the perfect timing and for Champ Long to insert himself with a Big Ten pedigree and come into a program that is just eager to get on the right side of winning ways. I feel like this one has all the makings to be an absolute steal in the making for North Carolina A&T. And they're coming off of a 1-11 season. And I just look at his high school tape by itself. He had 4,500 yards plus passing and rushing and 51 total touchdowns. New head coach Sean Gibbs has the weight of the world on his shoulders right now. And he's trying to resurrect a program that has had one of the most iconic brands in all of HBCU football and has been like a doormat the last couple of years. And now we're trying to just get some spark. Look no further than Champ Long. Maybe, just maybe he can be some spark for you. Let's keep it moving right along. The site that is on your screen is M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens. And the NFL is watching what the SWAC, the MEAC, and all of HBCU football is up to because they were so gracious to be the hosts for 2025 MEAC Media Days. Because in breaking news, MEAC Media Days will be at M&T Bank Stadium this year. This is amazing. Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, now coaching in the league. Larry Scott still there at Howard. Like the vibe is leveling up 100%, and now it's going to be at the bank. Now I'm looking at this and I'm saying like the NFL has been, very, very gracious recently. Like they said, hey, Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick, hey, you want to play at Lincoln Financial Field? Sure. Baltimore Ravens saying, hey, you want to have MEAC kickoff hosted here for media days? I'm like, sure, take it on in, man. Do whatever you got to do. But it is finally time for the rest of the world to wake up and pay attention because HBCU football deserves everything that is getting right now. This is glorious, monumental. MEAC Media Days is coming up in July. Everybody is going to be waiting and anticipating hearing from these coaches. Up next, this kid right here, Quad Wilson, he's going to Grambling, and his face might be familiar because he's the son of LSU running backs coach Frank Wilson, and he's taking his talents to Grambling State. He is a LSU DB and Citrus Bowl hero that is going to actually bring some grit, some toughness, some Louisiana ties, and it's just going to make it feel like it's going to be a match made in heaven right now because one of the most legendary programs in Black college football has another lineage piece to add to his team. I looked at this move and I said, that's not just another transfer. He's a future leader in the secondary. And I feel like he has the mentality, the motor, the ball skills, and ultimately I can bank on his development better now because he's at Grambling State. I feel like they can turn promise into production 100%. Let's keep going with the news because you stayed this long. You deserve to hear the stories we got to talk about. That kid, well, he's not a kid anymore, but that guy on your screen, doesn't he look familiar? Yeah, he does. That's Antonio Holmes. And guess what? He's joining Central State's coaching staff for this upcoming season. Central State, they just won the offseason in their books. They hired Santonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP, as their new wide receivers coach. Them boys about to get a whole new understanding of what it means to be a wideout. Santonio Holmes brings elite pedigree. You already knew that. Game-breaking knowledge, but you already knew that. And the kind of credibility with a Super Bowl ring that can help us when we're talking about recruiting and also getting people in the transfer portal too with the veterans. This is a monumental move. And when you're being coached by a man who's caught one of the greatest passes in NFL history from Big Ben Roethlisberger in the Super Bowl toe tap on the sideline. I don't even know how he got it in, but you can bet on your growth and your development as a player. Santonio Holmes, welcome to Central State University. I mean, on this jam-packed HBCU pulse of what's going on in this football world, HBCU is saying, if y'all don't want to give us a table, cool, we'll make one. And in 2025, they're saying ABC primetime, check. NFL venues, check. Culture-rich classics, check. Coaching hires that echo all across the nation and ultimately through history, check. Did you just go 4 for 4 like a Wendy's track? Yep, I do. Just add the pink lemonade into there. Make sure you good. The stories that happen the most and that matter the most to me live right here in HBCU football. And that CFB Nation, we're going to be here to tell you all about it in one beautiful, fearless, timeless, heart pumping, veins thumping chapter at a time to try to make sure we cover it the right way, the people's way. This is the world of college football.
Look at you out here using all these other sports books and you ain't even using the best one. Bet US. Get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the off season, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7. But there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money. Go get that money, twin. We about to talk about Coach Prime in a second, but I am Moon, credential media member of CFB Nation. This is my show, World of College Football, where we like to spotlight everybody in the college football ecosystem because it's not just about just the people up top like Alabama's and the Crimson Tide roll, or not all about, Ohio State, OH, somebody just finished the rest. It's about the programs that don't get enough love, don't get enough spotlight. So from sea to shining sea, from the top ranks in national championship contenders all the way down to the people in D3 trying to make it, JUCO ball. We're going to talk about you. We're going to make sure you're covered on the world of CFB. Let's keep it going in the show. Coach Prime, come on down, talk to your boy. Now, first off, Coach Prime, we are grateful that your health is going up. Saw you got at the hospital. We want to just wish you a speedy and just safe recovery as you get back acclimated to being back in Boulder and back with the team, back around your people, and soaking up all that love that you deserve. We're going to see you in a couple of weeks at Big 12 Media Days. And we look forward to seeing you in person, meeting Coach Prime. But just from the CLB Nation family, we want to just wish you a speedy recovery. We don't know all the details, but we just know that he has been going through some things. 9-3 finish for the Colorado Buffaloes in 2024 was absolutely marvelous compared to what they endured in 2023 when Coach Prime finally got here. And Coach Prime is now tasked with rebooting of the whole machine in 2025, year of our Lord. And he's doing it all without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. He's doing it without some key wide receivers that's now in the league, that's anticipating to put up a great career in the NFL. But, I mean, you name it. And Travis Hunter went two-way first-round talent to the Jacksonville Jaguars, already going crazy in camp. The Shedeur Sanders got botched by the NFL because nobody wanted to recognize him as a legitimate college football quarterback. And he ended up falling to the Cleveland Browns, another story for another podcast. However, they got players in the league now, and this year is going to be completely different for Coach Prime in Colorado. Now, the hype is still going to remain. the people are still going to remain. The relevance that Colorado has is a national lead is up there. There's probably not one more relevant program that has more buzz, that has more headlines. You can just say their name one time and it's going to be clicks. But they know that. They know that. And it kind of makes it hard as media that covers them because it's like they get so much hate from all over the place that they don't even see sometimes the people that's actually showing them love. So I want to give Colorado some love real quick on this little rapid fire breakdown, mini breakdown for you. I was looking at SB Plus rankings recently, and I said to myself, "Yo, Moan, something is up with Colorado. They are currently sitting at number 52 in post spring SB Plus rankings, and uh, SB Plus is Bill Connolly, ESPN. I like to use his rankings a lot of time because it measures things that I care about, but also some things that I don't care about either. You need a good balance of both. He cares about returning production a lot, and in this year." The offensive SB plus rating for Colorado is at 46 in the nation. 46. Now, defensively, they are 27.2 defensive SB plus. This is 60th in the nation. Now, if you want me to translate that for you in just regular people terms, SB plus is basically saying that this team, yeah, they're talented 150%, but they're not elite. At least not yet. Not in this ripening pruning process that they're going to have to go through in this Big 12. Now, I'm looking at it, you might be like, Bone, what are you talking about, bro? Well, listen, the problem that we see in this Colorado situation is that they're swapping quarterbacks. And normally when you see quarterbacks go out the door to the league, there's a drop off. He's trying to find what the next guy is. But thank God for the transfer portal and thank God for Caden Salter coming in. I mean, he's the Liberty Flames transfer quarterback with the volcanic upside and enough chaos that I find fascinating. His story and what he did at Liberty Flames is also just as fascinating. If you want to know numbers, in 2023, he threw for 2,800 yards, 32 touchdowns, and added a couple of more on the ground. He rushed for 1,064 rushing yards, and he did his thing in 2023. Now, in 2024, his numbers tailed off a little bit. Let's just be real and call a spade a spade. But the man was unhappy. And he still put up 1,886 yards, 15 total touchdowns, and 6 picks. The 6 picks is where we're looking at like, nah, Caden, you tweaking, bro. You tweaking. 100%. But now he's running the Buffalo show against the Big 12 defenses. And this is not Conference USA. We can just lollygag and just bank on you being the best player in the conference and just say, oh, okay, we can sputter, but we're gonna end up getting a win. Nah, it gets rocky out here in Boulder, and it can get rocky really fast. Just ask Ralphie, 100%. But if Colorado clicks, this kid is the reason why he'll erupt like a volcano. And Coach Prime, circling back, Coach Prime is going to love having not only Caden Salter, but also Julian Juju Lewis, quarterback from Carrollton, Georgia, by the way, 5-star prospect coming out. And he has a skill group in his wide receiver course that is probably one of the most underrated in the Big 12. We got a Marion Miller coming in, the rising junior wide receiver. That's an absolute menace out there. He flashed brilliance over and over again last year. 21 catches, over 400 plus yards, close to 500. Man had 22.8 yards a pop. He's the X receiver that you can get in your DB. You don't want this kid to stack you. Because he stack you, is over with. I mean, he can flip momentum in a heartbeat, and it's just one snaps. They got Joseph Williams coming in too. When I look at Joseph Williams, another extremely gifted wide receiver that's just trying to pull it together. Perfect situation though, being at Colorado. Draylon Miller is there. He's underrated for sure. Terrell Timmons Jr. fills out a rotation of Colorado pieces that is explosive, twitchy, and built for open space. And what do you want to do with the quarterback that knows how to move around? Now, I heard somebody say something, and they compared Shedeur to Caden Salter. I am not going to do that. Make no mistake about it. It's 2025. But what Caden Salter does, Shedeur, he's a pocket quarterback for sure. Now, you insert this kid who can extend plays outside of the pocket, and now it feels like you're playing college football 26. What do we do with that? Well, that's perfect for wide receivers doing scramble drills. So you can bet that this wide receiver core between Williams, Omarion Miller, Draylon Miller, Terrell Timmons Jr., and even the tight end, Zach Atkins, who is going to be physical in the run game, and he's going to be clutch for you on 3rd down and 6 when you need it the most. They are going to be good. Just fine. Just fine. It's going to take some adjustments, but the quarterback is going to need the most adjustments. You talk about the running back room. Michael Welch is coming back after averaging 5.3 yards a carry. He's a menace. A menace. And he had limited touches, and he still brought some juice. Dalen Hayden, former Ohio State running back. I'm sitting here like, okay, gone. I'm like, but I'm still looking at the consistency of the offensive line. And I'm looking at Jordan Seaton. Jordan Seaton came in and chose Colorado because he saw Shador needed help. So now he is the freshman phenom that came in and took this offensive line up. And SB Plus saw that improvement too and said, hey, I'm paying attention, Colorado. But this group overall is raw. They are physical. And Colorado is going to have to lean into their physicality because there was too many times last year in 2024 where physicality was the reason why they got beat. And then in other games where you have like Travis Hunter sticking his nose into the tackle, causing a fumble that wins us the game at the end at the very tail end in this moments where physicality shows up on the screen. So they're gonna have to look for other players like Zion Chrysler, Zarion McGill. They're gonna need those players to hold up in the interior so that Caden Salter is gonna have time to cook. But now let's talk about the defense though. Last year, this defense was bottom 3rd of the NCAA bad, just god awful. And SP Plus confirms the same thing again. They are 27.2 in defensive ranking in SP Plus. This is just outside of national respectability. But this is the problem when I look at the defense. This group has been totally overhauled, so we don't know a lot about these players and how they're going to work in the system. And let's just call a spade a spade. Returning production matters. It matters with Colorado. It absolutely matters. If we start in the trenches, Samuel Okunlola, and Arden Walker, yes, this pass rush is going to be deeper, and they're going to be able to switch more bodies, and Warren Sapp is going to be able to get in his bag even more. But they really can go 6 deep on the defensive line. You got Tavion Coleman, Jaheim Otis from Alabama who's coming in, and you got size. You got a nice little rotation now. Now, I'm not trying to throw shade when I say nice little rotation, but let's just be real. It's not up there as far as elite in the Big 12, but they got a chance to prove it to me. At linebacker, they got Martavius French just coming in from Louisiana State University, aka LSU. And Reginald Hughes is coming in as well to bring that SEC speed, that swagger on the second level, because you're going to need that playing in the Big 12 when you're trying to wrap up Bryson Washington and the rest of these running backs is coming out of the backfields. And if you want to hold Big 12 quarterbacks in check and anchor a run defense that absolutely got gashed at times a lot last year, they got bullied. And these are major pickups for them. The secondary, they got younger, but ultimately I feel like they're more fearless. They're led by Colton Hood. I think he's a future star. I feel like DJ McKinney is going to consistently get torched online. He's always going to get flamed because I don't know why, but a lot of people just have a lot of problems with him or whatever. But the reality is that DJ McKinney has starting reps across multiple systems. He's very knowledgeable, bro. The safeties between Taufik Bayard and Carter Stoudemire are both the ball hawking type of prospects that you would want. And we just really need consistency. Now, I know the SP Plus model isn't sold yet, and I'm quite frankly still not sold because I'm looking at Colorado as this reboot after the glory. That was the last dance for them. What does it look like post last dance? Well, at least on special teams, I know that Alejandro Mata is going to be automatic for anything under 40 yards. Special team matters too, But overall, in a nutshell, in this little 10-minute breakdown of Colorado, this team is not a finished product. They're just ranked 82nd in returning production in the nation, just 52%. But I still feel like this team's identity is still fluid because they have that guy. And Coach Prime, I feel like he wants a offense that can be up tempo, explosive, run the gosh darn football, have some pride, play with some pace, and then he wants to have a defense that can play complementary with him. And in this first year experiment with Caden Salter, the staff looks NFL heavy, like gold jackets just gonna pop up out of nowhere. You just look at their staff. I mean, it's loaded from top to bottom. The players transfer heavy, and that is loaded from top to bottom. But ultimately, the belief is still high because you have that guy, Coach Prime. But belief won't get you past BYU and past Arizona State and past Kansas State by itself. Belief is not enough to just do this. SP Plus says that they are a good team trying to be great. I'll tell you that there's a lot of questions around Colorado right now. And in these Big 12 and this new Big 12, you're going to have to find those questions out fast. But thank God, thank the Lord above that I got a quarterback that has accumulated over 60 touchdowns in his last couple of years since he's been a starter. Thank heavens that I have another prospect that's waiting in the wings. So if anything ever goes wrong with him, just insert Juju into the situation. Thank heavens that this offensive line finally can have some more maturity and some fluidity. Thank heavens that we're still going to sell out and have season ticket holders go up through the roof, and the brand is going to still be there. And we get a chance to host Georgia Tech early in the season for national media to sit here and give us something to talk about. Thank heavens that the spotlight lasts on Colorado. But that's why I say Coach Prime. You always say to God be the glory, but he going to get the glory this year because this brand, this machine, this mood out here in Colorado, it's up for this season to take shape, take fold, and for us to sit back and watch and see what this Coach Prime do with the Colorado squad that is unfamiliar in their unfamiliar territory. Last year, he led them to the mountaintop of nine wins, 3 losses that they should not have lost. But they also beat teams that they shouldn't have beat. They had no business beating Baylor. They had no business. You know what I mean? They had no business beating North Dakota State. North Dakota State gave them all that they can handle. But we're going to see what the fire looks like in this year. This is the world of CFB.
Look at you out here using all these other sports books and you ain't even using the best one. BetUS, get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the off season, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7, but there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money. Go get that money, twin. We appreciate BetUS's proud sponsors. Listen, at 8:30 on the dot Eastern Standard Time, we will be having a CFB Nation exclusive interview with the one and only Cooper Long. You do not want to miss it. It will be live at 8:30 on the dot. Special shout out to the boys and everything that they're doing behind the scenes. This is CFB Nation's special presentation of World of College Football, hosted by myself, Moon, credential media member. And on this show, we talk about everybody. Let's take a trip to San Marcos, Texas, because the air feels extremely different out here in San Marcos. Not just because of the dry heat that we get out there in Hayes County Hills, and not just because of the tempo, but the pulse of Texas State football is changing, and it no longer beats this so slow rhythm of rebuilding. Right now, under head coach GJ Kinne, this pulse is racing. It gets the blood flowing. It gets the people going. Because it's furious, it's unpredictable, it's brash, it got that bravado that you need to see. And if most of the group of 5 programs are rebuilding brick by brick, GJ Kinne came out and said, you know what? I got a blowtorch. I got experience with it. I'm about to use it because I'm going to just dare and defy gravity, and I'm going to dare gravity to stop me because I'm just ascending and going up, and I dare you to stop me. 2 years in, that's the motto. And no, he hasn't been stopped yet. GJ Kinne is now entering his third season as the head coach of Texas State. Third. And I'm sitting here looking at this coach. I'm like, no, he's not just rebuilding a program, just simple, plain, boring. Now he's daring the entire Sun Belt to say, square up, squabble up. I promise you. He opened the 2022-23 season by knocking off Baylor in Waco. And he set 20 program records and also finished 8-5 on the season. And that's the best record in school history. It's crazy. He comes in the door breaking records, 20 of them. And then came 2024. And I'm sitting here looking, oh, no, he's not going to get to another bowl game, is he? Nah, GJ Kinne got to another bowl game, dog. Got to another one. And he had more offensive fireworks. Yeah, the running back was absolutely crazy. And he had a narrow loss to college football playoff bound Arizona State. And they took them all the way to the wire. And they could have beat Arizona State last year. But this turned heads nationally. And I feel like it took turn heads internally for me. Because I'm like, yo, 2025 going to be one to believe when it comes to Texas State. It's going to be something else entirely. Now, let's look at the model because, we just got to look at it for what it is. This is just projections. It's not even my own. I'm just going to give you what SP Plus thinks and tell you what Moon thinks too. SP Plus has these kids at lukewarm right now. They're 93rd in the nation as Texas State, and they're projected for 6.1 wins, 4 wins in Sunbelt play. And I can look at that as disrespectful if you look at just the overall numbers. But I think that SP Plus is taking into account turnover that they had. They lost their starting quarterback, Jordan McLeod. He's now he's now out there on the West Coast. Now their do-it-all tailback that they had is now gone, and Ishmael Mahdi. And I'm sitting here like, yo, you can't retain them. There are 3 top receivers, 3 offensive line starters. Their offensive coordinator, Mac Leftwich, gone. 14 of 18 defenders from last year who logged at least 250 snaps, gone. So in total, he brought in 36 new transfers, including 3 new quarterbacks. He brought in 19 defenders. And GJ Kinne's approach is really born out of necessity, but he don't really want to have to use the portal as much as he had to. But now he's saying, like, it's not a bad look to have to do it. At the end of the day, I feel like GJ Kinne just wants to recruit guys that are hungry. If you got a chip on your shoulder, you got a little speed on you, running 4.4 plus, then I feel like we can make San Marcos your laboratory, and I can be Dexter. Just don't annoy me like Didi does. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's not really lip service, him giving lip service, or merely me giving lip service, because he has some pieces coming in. Auburn Tiger, former blue chipper Holden Geriner is locked in a 3-way battle with Nate Yarnell from Pittsburgh and SMU's Kedrick Luster for the starting quarterback job. He needs a starting quarterback. He has to get one. The wide receiver room now includes Marvin Anderson from Cal. They also got some other pieces as well too. So now I'm like, you are able to churn over your roster, still bring some guys back in. You have to be calculated in this new model of college football. But ultimately, this is what the gospel is according to GJ Kinne. He's a winner. He grew up fast in East Texas football sanctuaries, and he's always been around the game. From being a Jet, like Jeff Traylor at Gilmer. He watched his father coach at Allen, a powerhouse. Baylor. He spent time at NFL camps under Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson. He has a lot of knowledge in such a short period of time on this earth. And it truly blows my mind that he's already worked with Gus Malzahn, Mike Norvell, Cliff Kingsbury. And by 2022, he turned Incarnate Word to one of the most electrifying offices in America, whether it's FBS or FCS. And now you're leading the FCS in scoring. Now you're grooming Walter Payton Award winner Lindsey Scott Jr. And I'm saying to myself, this guy is electric. This guy is really like that. 100%. But make no mistake about it, the guy lurking in the shadows is a winner, and he carried that momentum straight to Texas State, where in year one, he shattered expectations and he broke the mold. The Bobcats didn't just win, bro. They exploded. They had 3,800 plus passing yards from quarterbacks positions. They had Ishmael Mahdi go crazy. And for a program that never been to a bowl game, this was just like a fever dream for them. Something where it's like you meet your dream girl and you're like the guy that feels like you have no shot whatsoever, and somehow some way you land your dream girl. That's what this situation feels like. And his motto, the dream girl's motto, is I'm taking back Texas one step at a time. And this call to action, this call to arms has been a rallying cry for this program, because they really want to take back Texas one step from the moment he came in the doors to answering his job to the moment that he leaves and gets a power forward opportunity. He's going to be locked and loaded. Now, if you look at what SP Plus model says, because I don't think it's the gospel, but it's definitely helpful. You look at this, and he says that they're going to have a defense that is going to take some regression, despite being first in tackles for a loss and 8 sacks, and 8 sacks in 2023. I really feel like SP Plus doesn't account for something that you can't really put in metrics. That is conviction. When he kept his defensive coordinator Dexter McCoy, and now you got to lean on kids like Khalil Alexander, who had 6.5 sacks last year, or defensive back Trez Moore. I'm looking at him like, yo, he's keeping the key pieces that he needed together. And that is what I continue to see with GJ. He continues to just shatter expectations. And I feel like you look at this veer and shoot offense, learning from so many of just brilliant minds. You can keep and retain play pieces like Landon Keeple, who was the original disciple of the veer and shoot scheme. We still keep him and then say, hey, you're gonna be offensive coordinator, so you're gonna keep that tempo that we want, and we're gonna keep going heavy tempo like we love to do. We're gonna marry that with trust. Now, the defense, SP Plus really doesn't believe in the defense. Now I say they got a lot of hope, but I also saw this team get cooked by Georgia State last year. If I don't go based on everything that I saw in 2024 and just look at this new year that presents ourselves, the schedule offers a little bit of grace for Texas State. They got trips to Arkansas on September the 13th. They got Troy November 29th. They got rivalry showdown with App State on October 18th. And this new look Bobcats team is going to get their fair share of tests in this Sunbelt. Now, when it's all said and done, this is the same man that did a fake punt from his own 20-yard line against South Alabama and got it popping. He is an innovator. He is fearless. And at 36 years old, this guy that's holding the trophy right now for the I-35 is already one of the sport's most intriguing minds, in just waiting for a power for an offer to come his way. He's part mad scientist like Dexter, and he's also part motivational oracle. He's also part gambler, like he lives in Vegas. And he's also part human, because he showcases so many emotions on the field. And you're like, man, how can you not love this guy? His programs are not just whispers in the wind, bro. His programs come in and break the mold. And now you went from doing nothing to now being in bowl eligibility, something that you couldn't even dream of. If Texas State soars in 2025, GJ Kinne will be a rising star in the national coaching carousel. And by the time that this year is over, 2025, mark my words, he will already have a P4 opportunity waiting in the wings. All he has to do is just decide if he's going to take it or not. 100%. But if this whole situation implodes, critics are going to start talking about him, calling the system unstable. He can't make it happen, but he's always aware of the stakes. And at the end of the day, that man just want to score 50 plus. And say, hey, you got to adjust to me because I'm alpha. You got to catch up to me. That's the reason why I like GJ Kinne. And this is what my bottom line is, though. I don't think that he's just building something at Texas State to just fit the mold. He's trying to shatter the mold and take back national respect for the state of Texas 100% and then allow it to run through San Marcos. The identity in that vein and that pipeline out there, he needs that to just regenerate and bring new life. It's like the Bobcats in this fascinating experiment that they have led us on over the last 2 years is working, and it just keeps working. I have to look at all the transfer turmoil and turnover and say to myself, can that man get the job done? I'm gonna look you dead in your eyes on this college football episode known as The World of College Football, hosted by your boy Moan, and look you and tell you he can absolutely get the job done. Why? Because his name is GJ Kinne, and you don't bet against that guy. This is the world of CFB, my friend. Coming up in about 9 minutes, we have an exclusive interview launching on DCFB Nation YouTube. Make sure you head over there and check it out. It's with Cooper Long. And special shout out to the boys behind the scenes. I couldn't get to my last segment how I wanted to, but it's basically talking about ULM and the Warhawks. The Warhawks have a lot of people that don't really want to give them a lot of love. And there's a lot of people that's like, well, why should I give ULM any love? But they matter in the college football ecosystem. I'm going to tell you about them really quick in a rapid fire, guns a-blazing intro ending to my show, The World of College Football. Now, there are 134 teams in the FBS, and most of them have more money than Louisiana Monroe. That's a fact. All of them, literally every single one, are projected to spend more on football operations in 2025 than what ULM currently reports in the bank, in the vault, in total athletic department revenue. This team is like bottom of the bottom of the bottom. They're like the long shots, the little rascals, the ones that you don't expect to be here, and they just figure out to just get the job done with what they have. But none of them, other 133 other FBS teams, or at least 136, none of them really matter. If you're in that locker room, the only thing that matters is ULM. Head coach Brian Vincent doesn't have a championship trophy on his resume. And ULM doesn't have the flashy NIL collectives and the flashy Instagram graphics, and you can go see them coming up out of nowhere talking about, we just signed a 4-star prospect and commit, and we're now in the race with the top 10. No, they're not going to be that way. But they got grit. They got real Southern bred, hard-won grit. And in his second year at ULM, that man right there is molding the Warhawks into a team that does not flinch. It does not fold. And it might just be here to build, to climb the mountaintop yet again and spoil a lot of people's hopes at a Sun Belt championship. They got to keep going and keep fighting for each other, because this program just keeps getting overlooked and overlooked. Nobody wants to pay attention to ULM. Why would I want to go out to Monroe, Louisiana? Well, you want to go out to Monroe, Louisiana because the foundation was just set. Some people might look at 5-7 finish to 2024 and say that didn't turn heads, Moon. It didn't do it nationally, but inside the Sun Belt, it raised some eyebrows and people said, "Barbar," because the Warhawks started off 5-1 on the season. This is their best opening to a season in more than a decade. And before some injuries started happening, before some depth issues, and a grueling November stretch that just smacked them boys, belt to the hind parts, and then November stretch to a bowl push. Oh, man. But make no mistake, that late season slide was miserable, and it also was disappointing, but the building blocks were unmistakable. They were right there, just all waiting for us to say. And then you see Coach Vincent, who just inherited a program that went 9-39 over the previous 4 seasons. Say it again, Moon. This program, ULM, went 9-39 over the previous 4 years before he got there. In year 1, he doubled their win total. More importantly, he brought back some identity here to this team and got the juices flowing. Then you see a run-heavy offense first, a veteran defense, and a belief that ULM can walk into any stadium and punch you in your mouth, and you might be like, dang, why did little brother just hit me like that? Why am I bleeding on my lip? Well, they're going to do that for all 60 minutes. SP Plus model says, nah, them boys don't expect nothing from them. But look, ULM ranks nationally 116th heading into 2025. If you just look at just where the rankings are, and just metrics only tell part of the story. Just look at where the rankings are. They are projected for 2.8 wins in conference this year. Their average win total projection is 4.4 overall. So they're projecting them for 4 wins. Offensive rank 128th in SP Plus rankings. Their defense, respectable, 100th in the nation in SP Plus rankings. But here's the kicker, and things that you're not gonna know just based off of what an SP Plus ranking tells you. ULM returns 64% of its overall production. That's tied for 32nd nationally. Put some respect on their name. That includes 132 returning FBS starts, one of the highest figures in the entire Sun Belt Conference. Put some respect on them boys' names. Defensively, the Warhawks bring 11 of their top 17 snap takers, including key impact players, into their front seven. Better put some respect on them boys' names. And while they lost their running back Amar Hardy to the transfer portal to Missouri, they reloaded with 4 new running backs that's coming in, including a 1,300-yard rusher in Zach Palmer Smith from Richmond, and a 4-star freshman in Deshaun Ford, one of the most highly rated recruits that ULM has ever sniffed. You could look at projections, but you're going to see a team that's changing their identity. Like, it's saying, you know what? Well, they're not changing their identity. They're going to stay 10 toes down and never fold. I understand. It all comes, it's a lot to talk about with this team. 2024 improvement is going to be amazing. It's going to have to come on the defensive side of the ball, though, with Cavante Wells, linebacker Billy Pullen, double-digit tackles for a loss last year. He's going to give ULM that pop, that juice. David Godsey Jr., he's going to be a reliable corner guy for you that's going to come in and ultimately try to be a ball hawk. You're going to add some depth in the secondary. And them DBs going to be rotating and staying fresh, my boy. That's what they're going to do. In this world where ULM is an afterthought, they brought in 8 transfers and 6 JUCO players on defense and said, not anymore. They want to limit big plays and stop all the third down and shorts, and they want to turn them into third down and longs. They want to keep the score within reach so they can strike and have a battle plan for you. And if they can keep the scores in the 20s and the low 20s for their games, I feel like they can stay alive. Staying alive for the ULM Warhawks. In a college football world where you can see in Tuscaloosa and Ann Arbor, success is a college football playoff bid. How do we judge success for the ULM Warhawks? Well, you got to look at sustainability. You got to look at being reputable. You got to look at being identity proven and have an identity proven process, and have that process be driven by things that actually matter and that work. They don't need to win the Sun Belt Conference in order to validate Coach Vincent's plan. They don't need to do that. They're going to be heading in to a gauntlet this year, and they need to lock in on bowl eligibility because that is very much so in the path for ULM. And maybe, just maybe, they need to remind people that are playing with heart still counts in this league. They got to remind people in this college football world that's dominated by money, headlines, boosters, that ULM is proof that belief still matters. That it's a program that's going to go bare knuckles with you in the Sun Belt Conference to say, I dare you to square up with me, because you're going to get hit first before I get touched. They're going to be dragging FBS giants and walking into arenas this year where they're not going to have any fear whatsoever, because they don't need fear. All they need in ULM with Coach Vincent is four quarters to get the job popping. It's your boy Moan, and this is why ULM is on a path to bowl eligibility in 2025 under the leadership of Coach Vincent. This is the world of college football. For a jam-packed show where I got a lot of teams covered, a lot of players talked about, we're going to be live again tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a lot more topics that we cover on tomorrow's show. Kinne is coming up for sure. I'm glad you feel it, and I appreciate you watching the show. Shout out to you. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. Coming up very soon, we got an exclusive interview with Cooper Long on CFB Nation YouTube. If you're watching the show, it's your boy Moan, credential media member. I thank you. We couldn't do this without your support. You watching it, you sharing it with the people out there, and trying to turn somebody into a college football fan. We make the show to not to be flashy, glamorous, or popping. We make it to be educational, consistent, and have a little bravado and spice that you can need sometimes. So as you enjoy your Monday night, I'm about to go catch up on Monday Night Raw. If you once you enjoy your Monday night, I just want you to keep this in the forefront of your mind. In this college football world is vastly changing, and the ecosystem that is right now is constantly adapting. It's survival of the fittest in 2025. It's either you adapt or you drown. Which one do you want to choose if you're a college football program that's out there? Until next time, from the world of CFB, this is your boy Moon. See you on the other side, my friend.